What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys for joining us for yet another one. Tonight we got an interesting conversation, y'all. We are talking, can a relationship survive after one cheats? This should be a good one. But first, let me welcome Ebony in the chat once again. Ebony, thank you for being here. Ebony, can
Sorry,
you?
I had an Amber Alert came through. I was like, sorry. Hello, everyone.
That's okay. We got a good friend of mine on tonight, Anthony. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anthony, this is Ebony, my good friend of mine. And Danny should be joining us in just a second. And Ebony, we had a little change of plans here. Anthony's wife was supposed to be on with us, but she's not feeling too well right now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope she feels better.
Yeah. So Danny will jump in here in a minute, but we're gonna get this thing started. Ebony, we got this conversation from you. So I
Oh,
want
Lord.
I want to know, can a relationship survive after one cheats in the relationship? Talk to me.
I do think it can survive. However, as a woman, I strongly feel like you're going to get a different version of that woman. And again, I can only speak from a perspective as a woman. So that's the way my narrative will lead is that
Mm-hmm.
I've been in that situation before, unfortunately. And the Ebony they met is now long and gone, and
Yeah.
she's dead. You're gonna get another Ebony. Doesn't mean she won't be as loving, as attentive, but it won't be necessarily the same Ebony. So I do think that it can survive, but it takes a lot, and that's an understatement, a lot of work to build that trust back up, and be able to kind of put those nagging feelings to the side because it's really tempting to keep bringing it up when
Mm-hmm.
you have certain day to day things that arises and triggers you.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to get caught up in that. Now you're back at square one. So I do think it can survive, but it's going to take a lot of work to build the trust up and the love there. Because once you cheat, you don't really, I don't look at you the same. It's
Right.
a different it's different. With women, when you emotionally and mentally lose us, it's pretty much a wrap.
Yeah.
Where I think men, it's a little easier. I hate the word manipulated, but women, it's a little harder to reel us back in once you've stepped out.
So I'm curious, Ebony. You you said it'd be tough, but
Hmm.
could you and would you try again? Would you stay in this situation? Would you figure? I'm gonna push you now, or
You're
would
gonna get my tires split. Okay, so I have actually tried on numerous occasions with a particular person in my past.
mm-hmm.
Um, to bounce back from the cheating. And his was more of an emotional cheating, which to me and to most women is even worse than the physical act of actually fornicating with another person. It
Right,
was the emotional stuff that really had me hung up. And to long story short, we're not together.
right,
We tried several times, and even though I forgave, quote unquote, I couldn't forget.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know, honestly, to be honest, just blunt, I don't know if I was willing to put the work in to get it back on track, to be honest. And I didn't feel like I should have been tasked with that because I'm not the reason why we're off track.
Right, right,
So long story short, it didn't work out because
yeah,
I wasn't able to subconsciously just let it, quote unquote, go. There were little mannerisms that would trigger me, certain things. We could be watching TV and a scenario pop up, and I'm instantly just triggered. Now I
yeah,
got an attitude. He don't understand why because we just watching TV, we watching
right,
a basketball game, and he like, "What the hell's the problem?"
right,
Um, so I think maybe if we would have went to counseling, which was suggested at one point when we tried again, but I think again my mind was just like the audacity,
yeah,
the audacity to step out on me, like, nah. So it was just, I'm just being honest because we women think that because we always want to know, well, who was the other woman? What she looked like?
right.
And you look at them and you're like, are you serious? You risked home for that? And it's like the audacity of you. You were lucky to get me.
Yeah,
I
And
get that. Yeah.
like, what the hell? It's like, So I think women do struggle. We always want to know what she looked like, and now we're caught up, and maybe that's not the right thing to be caught up on, but by nature, human nature, women were like that. We're curious, like what does she have I didn't have,
Right.
especially when you feel like you did your job, quote unquote, at home, which I was. So that was another reason I was like, what else do you want from me?
Right.
I'm doing everything and some without being asked, and that's still not enough. So it was just hard to kind of trust that person to be able to be honest again at the end of the day for me.
Gotcha.
And the risk to me wasn't the reward wasn't the risk wasn't worth the reward in that instance. And that's
Gotcha.
just how I felt.
I got you. I got you. All right, Anthony. We're gonna Anthony and Danny. I don't need to introduce you, Danny. Hell, everybody know you.
Yeah,
So
of course.
Danny and Anthony, of course, are the two married people on here. So we're gonna go to Anthony. Anthony, from a married point of view, could a relationship survive if one cheats?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks again for having me on your show. Hey, Danny, I've been watching you guys. You guys are killing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Ant.
Definitely
Yeah, no
appreciate
problem.
that.
Well, Ebony hit it on the head because on my notes here, there's two forms of cheating: emotional and physical. And she actually said a lot. Like coming from a male's perspective, I think for me, emotional cheating might be a little worse than the physical cheating. I mean, because the emotional cheating can last for years with no physicalities, but they're getting that void, or whoever's getting that void. The physical can be one time. I mean, for me, honestly, there's a few different scenarios as far as, all right, so say a husband and wife, hey, Danny, you're married, I'm married, say if we separated from our wives for a few months, things might happen with us or with them. I think those are things to look at. But actually in a marriage, when you're committed as one, of physical cheating, no. Like, if I ever found out my wife cheated on me as we were married with no problem, well, I mean, we all have problems in our marriages and our relationships, but no, absolutely not. Emotional, that can be even more, man. Yeah, because they're giving, and even as a dude saying this, as a guy saying this, we can do the emotional support or cheating as well, because we might get that comfort that we might feel that we're not getting from our woman at home.
Mm-hmm.
And another chick makes us feel good, and we might not think we're doing anything wrong, but in their mind, it's like, and vice versa, man. It's a very complicated issue. I mean, the bottom line is, like, at the end of the day, morally, cheating's cheating, and, like, hey, I mean, hey, Marlo, you're not married, man.
I know I'm not. I know you can't say too much.
So you don't have that commitment, man. But when you got this thing on and you've made that commitment in front of God and your loved ones, yeah. So no, at the end of the day, cheating's cheating, and it's not acceptable. I mean, we're all human though, and we have our vices, and I mean, it's a complicated issue, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you're happy with who you go home to, hey,
What? I understand, but I'm still gonna nail it down to you like I did Ebony. Would you stay?
Y'all gonna have Anthony on the couch, Lord Jesus. He gonna have him sleeping on the couch.
So in short, your answer is you wouldn't stay if your wife cheated.
No, probably not.
Gotcha. Come on, Danny. Give me what you got. You from another married point of view.
All right. So the big question is, can it survive?
Mm-hmm.
There is a possibility, and in that possibility, the question is that did the cheater change, and can the cheater change? Well, the whole part of, can the cheater change, and is the cheater, not, and we say he or she going to put in the work to make it survive? 9 times out of 10, no, it's not going to survive, because the trust is broken, and once it's broken, it's like trying to, as Ebony said, it not just the risk versus the reward. It's the whole, am I fixing to put in this much work to regain trust in you, and why? Why should I regain the trust in you? Of course, a lot of people will say, well, you've had this many years of being together. We've gone through so much. We should keep this together. We should keep it working.
Mm-hmm.
The second part is the cheating going to change? And that's the question that's going to stay in the person's mind who got cheated on, is like, okay, you've done it once. When are you going to do it again? And it's that constant waiting for the shoe to drop of, that one thing. So you're going to sit back and constantly put that person through situations or scenarios that, any little small thing can cause a red flag, or any little small thing can be. I'm kind of drawing a blank on what I'm trying to say.
We know you
Sounds
just.
like a
We know you
PTSD.
just take. We know you just woke up over in Japan. What time is it over there?
It's not. Yeah, you're right. It is 9:40. I mean, it's
In the morning.
9:53 in the morning. I did just wake up, and actually, I'll probably go back to sleep because I ain't started cooking till about 2:00. Because our party don't start till 7 tonight.
Right.
So.
Okay. So,
but,
Danny, finish. In short, Danny, could you stay if one cheats?
No.
I'm gonna press all y'all on these answers now. Could you stay if one cheats?
No.
Okay.
And it's again, and that was the whole thing I was touching on, is that I'm not going to sit back and constantly spend that time trying to figure out, if you're going to do something, and I'll be honest, and I'll be straight up about it, because in my first marriage I did, and
good son of a.
exactly. and I mean, I've sat back and I've looked at things, and it's like I always look at like what I put people through, because I've cheated in relationships and I cheated in my first marriage, and looking back, all the things, trying to go back to normal, trying to just go back to just normal work, normal day, and it's like it was impossible, because anything I did, I was because the way I was doing things, trying to be slick about it. Anything I did, kind of set off a thing in her head where it's just like, you might slip up, and or you're doing this. Well, you did this, and you're doing it again. How do I know you're not cheating right now?
Yeah.
And
I feel that. Yeah.
So
at the same time,
you are a
like,
hard no. So you a no.
Yes, I'm definitely a no, because
But ain't it different in a man? Ebony, let me go back to you. For somebody who's not married.
It is.
Thank you, Marlo. Yes, I'm the single lone one. Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're not married. It's no. I think I'm asking the wrong question. The question to the wrong person. Is a marriage? But if you're dating and cheat, is that not different from when you married and cheat? Because you got a lot more to lose when you're married, like property, business, money. You got a lot of stuff when you married together. So does that make you? Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Can we just please stop the BS? I don't know if I can cuss on here, but can we please stop the bullshit about, I'm staying for the kids? Them kids will be okay. Can we just say that? Like, I am so sick of people. You're doing more harm than good with your kids. Your kids are very smart. They know when mommy, daddy's interactions are not the same.
Right.
And all you're teaching your children is that is how a relationship goes. That you put up with things and you keep trucking. And that's not how we should raise our boys and girls at all, whatsoever. You teach them to have self-worth, self-value, and to love themselves enough to know when they deserve better.
Right.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on that part.
Yeah, Dan, I was just coming back to you. I didn't even let you finish. My bad, Danny. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, I'm going to play devil's advocate on that part. Because, and this is where it's like, when we look at what we go through today and how we are, and we, and I mean, you see, I looked at a stat last night, and it's like 70% of marriages end in divorce. 70 in America.
Oh, wow.
So it ain't the 55%, it's 70% end in divorce. That's first marriages. It ends in divorce. And 90% of that is because of cheating. But there's, back in the olden days when it's like, when you sit back and and you say those vows, and the vows are for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. In sickness, and that's where people are like, hey, okay, it's made. We have to make this work. We have to make it survive. And relationships, back in the olden days, they survived. They survived cheating because they just sit back and say, we're not going to end this. And I've seen couples that stay together. That one of the biggest things in couples do when they stay together, they become best friends. So and still, you cheated, you messed some things up. Some did change, some didn't, but they stayed together because that's their best friend. And it's like ending that situation, and and I'm talking about our grandparents, in which
about Willie Earl and them. Okay.
Yeah, Willie Earl and them. They stayed together because they were just like it's the nuclear family that we have lost, in our society today. And
right.
And one of the biggest things is that we let go too early. So I've seen relationships, I've seen them survive. Now I don't know what's the inner workings of what's going on. I've had a friend who's survived it, and they're still together, and their relationship got better. But I still don't know the inner workings because I'm not in that relationship. Mm-hmm. Can I do it? And like I said, I can't right now. I just cannot. And it's and maybe because I'm jaded, because I've been in enough relationships to where it's just like I know how to start over.
Yeah.
And it could be that, but then I look at like she said, Willie Earl and them. I look at my grandparents, and their marriages went till death. And both my grandmothers got cheated on. So
I was just gonna say that Willie Earl would have a family cross town. When we try to compare the olden times. What happened? The olden times, it'd be because Willie Earl had a whole nother set of kids somewhere.
Right.
And the grandmama that was just the time we were in. You just put up with it.
Yeah. Well, look it, man. Okay, I'm gonna come at this from my point of view about cheating in a relationship, and I'm not gonna take too much time to speak about that because my answer is a hard hell, absolutely no. Because I can put up with a lot of things in a relationship, Anthony, Ebony. I can put up with a lot of stuff in a relationship, but cheating. When it comes to cheating, because I feel, Anthony, you know this. I feel like when I'm with somebody, I treat them like gold. You understand?
Yeah.
I treat them like gold, like princesses, whatever, or whatever. And to me, I just feel like there's no reason for you. You don't need to. You're not messed up financially. If I'm showing you the love and affection like I've always done with my girlfriends or whatever, and then you betray me like that to go cheat on me, that's one thing that I can't stand, because there will be no making up for me after that, because every time I look at you, it would actually disgust me.
Yeah.
Every time I looked at you, and if you like that with somebody, in a relationship, especially if y'all living together, and you got to look at each other every day, and I'm just, every time I see you, I'm thinking about that. Why even stay in that relationship? Why?
It's not worth it.
So when people can, and as far as with kids in a relationship, like Ebony just said, man, to hell with that. Them kids are gonna be just fine. Whoever get the kids, the other side gonna pay some child support. If the kid's small enough, I swear them kids gonna be just fine. If you got to step outside your marriage, or if you got to step outside your relationship, you didn't need to be in that relationship in the first place, because it's evidently something that you're missing. And if you're missing something, if you cheat on me, then what? I don't know what if whatever it is that is missing that you not finding in me.
Right.
Then please go out there and explain and find what you're looking for. That's it.
Can I touch on one thing? One thing that Danny said.
Yeah.
One thing that Danny said. I actually had it in my notes right here. Going back to, our grandparents' days. Both of my granddaddies cheated on my grandmas, and they stuck with them. And I don't know if it was, back then it was a lot of religious thing going on, like, hey, you're a Christian, you don't break that bond, you're married for life. But that just kind of struck a note with me when Danny said that. I was like, I know this personally. My grandfather has 47 kids by, I don't know, maybe 6 different women. On my mom's side, and my granny stayed with him for all these years. And it's like you look back and like, why would you do that, Granny? Why would you do it? She did it for the kids. But it was also a different era back then. It was a different era. Like, I mean, we've evolved. We're in a new generation now. We're in 2024, going on 2025, and that's not acceptable. I guess the basis of the whole thing is, cheating is not acceptable by any means. And Marlo, Danny, I ain't trying to step on your toes by any means, because that can be another, topic for your podcast. But women's rights. Women didn't have those rights back then. They could just walk away from. They couldn't just walk away from their man back then, because they're home raising these kids. They couldn't get jobs. They couldn't do this and that. So, I mean, things have changed, and absolutely not. So again, a hard no on the cheating.
Okay.
Because women now, we're making more money than some of the men. So back then it was different land. It was a different atmosphere. Women didn't have jobs. They didn't have food. They had no money.
100%.
They didn't have nowhere to go. Now 100%. We're out here making money. We're VPs at companies. We can just leave. Like we're out here paying alimony to men. Because we're not putting up with it.
True.
So it's a different era in what we're willing. Some of us are willing to put up with, because we can stand on our own.
Right.
Exactly. It's just a different time frame.
Right. So I got a tough question here for everybody. Answer the best way you can. I hope I don't get nobody head knocked off. Danny and Anthony. Well, Danny done already said it. So I'm gonna start with you, Ebony. You got to answer if you don't want to, but I'm gonna start with you. Have you ever?
I already know what you're finna ask.
Have you ever cheated on anyone in a relationship, and why? And why?
Oh, Lord. Jesus. Okay. I have. I've been on both ends of the spectrum. Got cheated on and was a cheater. I do not think there's no good reason or explanation to cheat, because I feel like if it gets to the point where you feel like you said, you're missing out on something, or you don't feel whole, or you feel like you're just not happy, that's when you have a hard discussion with your partner to get to the root of it and see if it's something that you can fix and come to an agreement on, or understanding, and part ways amicably. Yeah. The reason why I cheated, what was the reason? I was young. I ain't gonna lie, I was really young. I don't think I really gave relationships the respect that it deserved, to be honest with you. I was just doing my thing, quote, quote. Do I regret it? Of course. Did I feel bad in that moment? Obviously not. But then come to find out that they were doing their own indiscretions behind my back. So I felt like it was a wash, but it still was wrong, right? I'm now older, more mature. I think the biggest thing is I've gotten older, I see the devastation that it causes.
Yeah.
Not just families get broken up. Now the kids got daddy weekends and, all that. You got to explain to the kids what's going on. But it's the turmoil that you put on that person that you violated, that partner that trusted you with everything they had. That devastation is lifelong. And I don't think people understand that. You have really kind of molded how that person is thinking from that point on. And they carry it to everywhere they go. It's like a piece of baggage that they can't quite get off their back. And then they try to go to other relationships. And now they've kind of maybe put that spin into that relationship, and that doesn't work, and it keeps going into a vicious cycle until they themselves deal with that hard conversation within themselves and get over it for themselves.
Yeah.
That's why forgiveness is important, because you have to do it for yourself. It's not for the other person. It really isn't. And I know that it's hard to do. And forgiveness doesn't mean you take them back. Again, you're forgiving them so you can move on.
Right.
Because all you're going to do is carry that everywhere you go. And it really will taint your way of thinking. And that is something that I don't think, especially men, I'm sorry, that don't understand the emotional havoc that wreaks on a woman when you cheat on her and you violate her trust. Again, it's not just about, oh, you laid up with someone. It could be, I'm finding you're saying good morning to the same woman every morning. Why are you texting this woman good morning?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's things like all of that is a violation of trust.
Right.
So that is why since I am mature enough to recognize how that negatively affects the innocent person, I will not do that
Good
by
answer.
any means necessary. I will leave and walk away, no matter how hard that is or how much that hurts them, or, oh, I got to give up this big, pretty, nice house we got together. I just have to start over if I feel like it's going to go that route, because it's not, it's truly devastating to some people, and some people never recover from that.
Gotcha. Good answer, Ebony. Good answer. All right, Anthony. I hope won't get your head knocked off in there.
Oh, Lord.
uh,
Anthony.
Honestly, I mean, to be real with you, I've only been in 3 major relationships in my life. I've been married twice. Um, I've the mother of my children. We were never married. So yeah, I was married. We have a child together, and been married to Casey now for almost 14 years. No, I've never cheated on any one of them. Um, as far as being and how do you like, it's kind of a fine line here. So yeah, when I was a single man and in between relationships, like I said, I've only been in 3 major ones. Being a single man, I mean, yeah, I might have dated a couple different girls at the same time. I mean, does that really constitute cheating? I mean, I
Well,
don't
not if
know
you're
if
not
in
if you're
their
just
mind.
dating. Not if you're just dating. I mean,
Well,
if you're not exclusive with somebody, and
right.
then I feel like that's when you have to get an understanding with each other. All right, we messing around, but I'm also messing with somebody else, or are we exclusive with each other? I think if more
Right.
people would just talk to each other
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and be for
Well,
real and stop being.
and in those situations, it was never like I never had those conversations with, those girls, because it was just like, all right, like,
It
how do
doesn't
you
sound
feel?
like cheating then. It sounds like you were just like just dating and getting, just having fun with someone. And, again, like
Right,
Marlon was saying, you have to have that
exactly. But I mean, as far
conversation
as
of,
as far as being in a relationship, no, like, because like I said, I've been in 3 serious relationships in my life, and no, I've never physically. I mean, and of course, Ebony, going back to you, like emotionally cheating, maybe, because there's times I might have, you know, someone I went to school with 25 years ago, and like, I would be, going back to the whole, making you feel good about, oh, you look like you're doing so well, and I hope you're happy, and oh, so are you, they make you feel good about yourself, and but then it's like, all right, you got to cut it off at that point,
Yeah,
and
I got you. Danny, what you got?
So, uh, yeah, I've done the cheating and I've been cheated on. Uh, the one thing that has changed in me, and and I tell this to everyone: karma hits, and
Mm-hmm.
when karma hits, it hits. Excuse me. It hits like a ton of bricks. There's other things I want to say, but I will keep it PG. It hits, and it not only hit me, it hit my daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the one thing that I witnessed, that I bear witness to, where it's just like, no, I'm not fixing to put that out there anymore. I'm not putting that out in the world. Not only that, being in a good relationship is a beautiful thing, and it's fun. It's work, but it's fun. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's a hard. It was a hard lesson to learn, and it's a lesson that I'm continuing to learn because I have to observe it so much now because I have 4 daughters and 2 granddaughters. So in my 4 daughters, I've seen it. My youngest one, I haven't seen it happen yet. I take it back. Nope, I'm wrong. I just lied. And she did. So I witnessed all of them go through. And I had to be the father to comfort them and console them and let them know that, a true man and true people don't do that. And I've also, in my travels all over the world, I've seen, we have in America, we have a Christian-based belief in which, even in the Christian-based belief, even in the Bible, one marriage, a man and one wife is not all throughout the Bible. So we go through it, and I mean, that'll be a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
Talking about it, because that's something I learned in my studies of theology and studies of everything else, where it's kind of Christian based, but it has no bearing because Abraham had how many wives? We done lost count.
Man.
Because
Danny.
Yeah.
Man, listen. All right, me. I think all of us, this answer that we all given is coming from our younger days. The people that we were in our 20s or something like that. In my 20s, have I ever cheated on somebody? Yeah. Have I been cheated on? Yeah. But that's in my 20s and 30s. As you get older, man, you just learn. And I try to live my life now as, if I know I don't want you to do something, then I'm not gonna do it. That's how I try to live my life now. But we live and we learn. We've all done messed up relationships. Some the relationship that didn't work was probably our fault out of some of them. But like I said, you live and learn. And when you get older, this cheating at our point, I think all of us are. Eben, don't beat me up. I think all of us over 40. I think
barely, yes.
Barely over 40. But
I'll be 44. I'll be 44 in February.
All right, cool. And so, man, I think we come at this from a whole nother angle now. Cheating nowadays is bullshit. If you gotta cheat right now, there's no need for me. There's no need to cheat in a relationship at our age. Man up, woman up. Talk to each other. This is what I mean. This is how. Try to fix it. If you can't, leave the relationship. If you have to cheat,
Yeah. People are dying now.
Right.
That's another. People are crazy. I'm not gonna die over a piece of whatever. I'm not willing to die over some temporary stuff. People are crazy.
Thank you, Ebony. Thank you. And
Vacation.
Let me give y'all a 1 minute story real fast, since Ebony brought that up. Anthony, Danny, I'm out. This is 15 years ago. I'm out to a restaurant with a woman who swears she's single. I've been talking to this woman for maybe 3 weeks. Next thing you know, man, I feel something over my shoulder. It's a big old dude, had to be around 6'2", 260, man. Now, I turn around, I'm like, and then he talking to her, what the fuck, this, that, and this, that, and this. And I'm just looking at her like, are you serious? But this dude so mad and everything, you know what I did? This is exactly what I did. I stood up out of my chair. I said, hey, bro, here, you sit down. That food that just coming, y'all gonna eat that. Don't you ever call me again in your lifetime. Because Anthony, Ebony, Danny, trouble is so fast. Now, if that man would have been a different kind of man and came in there and just shot me dead at that fucking table, then what? Out of something that I didn't even know anything about. And that's what I'm tripping. And Ebony, you right. Starting over, all this shit is dangerous right now, today. Mm-hmm. And that's why I tell people in relationships, if you're in a relationship with somebody, and there's no domestic violence. He's not. You don't think he's the cheating. You financially stable, and you know everything is good, but you still got problems. Well, so what? Every relationship gonna have problems. Stay in your if it's possible. Stay in your relationship, cause 2024 ain't nothing like 1990s dating. You can believe
At
that.
all.
You can believe that. So man, listen, y'all. Ebony, Anthony,
Mm.
we thank you guys for coming on here, man. Ebony, you know what? Ebony, your guest, your topic. Ebony, take us out of here. What's your last thought on this cheating thing?
Last thought is love yourself, love your partner, and if you can't love them, love yourself enough to walk away.
Good one. Come on, Anthony, give me something. 30 seconds.
Just don't do it. I mean, just don't do it.
That's
I
plain
ain't
and
going to say
simple
what I
enough.
really want to say right now because it's kind of a PG show, but yeah, just don't do it.
Got you.
There's other outlets for that.
Danny, come on, take us out of here, Danny.
Communication is the key. That is the biggest key. You know, there's a bunch of relationships out there now that are just, hey, it's mutually non-exclusive. And they call it all kinds of different definitions, but communication is the key. Talk. And that's what people in relationships are scared to do. Talk. It's time to start talking.
Yeah, I agree, Danny. I agree, man. I agree. I fully agree. Ebony, once again, man, listen, thank you so much for coming on this show, man. We love your insight, you know, the real conversation that you bring to the show. Anthony, man, we look forward to having both of y'all back on here real soon.
Yes, please, both of you.
Yeah.
So appreciate you all. No,
yes.
looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
Sure.
No problem, man. So with that
Ebony,
being
Thank
said,
you guys.
Ebony, again, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a great, awesome, safe new year.